like this, if you look at my New Year's Eve video, where I did somewhere in the middle of the video, I'll have to see if I can find it. I put a whole case of these together. These are 20-shot Roman candles, and I kind of quick matched them all. 48 packs of 12. Grief, that's got to be like 400 and, wow, probably close to 500 can it be, in the case. Yeah. But anyway, I put a whole case together. Kind of, you get them and you kind of quick matched them, and I left them in a pack, and I angled some this way and some that way, and I'll have to add that clip to this. Nobody does it better than David. He's watching.
Neighbors are watching too, yeah.
You can see it, but that's what I used. Let's see. Kingbird. Let's see. There's 4 in a case. 4 rolls. 4,000. So that's like, these are about 12 bucks each or something. 16,000. So there's 1,000. I often wonder what that number means, because it really doesn't mean 1,000 firecrackers. It's like some measurement or something. Or maybe it is 1,000. I don't know. Let's see. 16 rolls, 54 bucks. All right, now here this is. Okay, this is the 8. This, let me turn it, is the 16. Now if you, that is the price that it should be, right there, $52. Now, you know, not to bad my Phantom too bad, but if you look, Phantom had this for like $1.99. I wanted to take a look at these firecrackers. I'm going to buy this in. Huh? I'm going to roll this down my street. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to light this on fire. Yeah, that's a big monster one. Steep. And you bought one and got one, and that would make it 100. And here it is, $52.75. So I always said Phantom had good prices if you cut it in half 2 times, and that's what the price should be. Hammer crackers, you get 120 boxes for $40. I don't know what the hell you do with all. Let's see. That's it. Okay, where's that one font I'm looking for? Sparklers. Yeah, these look cool. Morning Glories. So. Let's see, flags over America is usually what I buy too. Parachutes. Oh, this is the one we set off at the Sportsman's Club. Right here. Flags over America. We put a case of these together. And it's 53. Here's what I was looking to get, but this is what's here. Nothing. There's one right there.
This next one is okay too.
Jesus, that heavy. American pie. So that's something like $8 or $9, I guess. It certainly feels heavy. Get little shots of the property here. You can see that there's magazines, different things. Front of the building. I think they also use these trailers for magazines. Be up here next week for demo night. Well, you don't have to know much, but you know that there's something good right there behind that door, huh? That's what you call a magazine. Okay, out the door. And that's Wholesale Fireworks. That's kind of what it looks like. Just reversed the way back home. About 75 miles out of Pittsburgh.
All natural sweeteners. But beating obesity will take action by all of us based on one simple common sense fact. All calories count.
Wrong!
Ever since the 1960s, we've been taught to get enough calories to keep our bodies going, but not to get too many so that we don't get fat. The reality is that calories could be one of the most useless pieces of information for understanding your food and how to regulate your weight. Let me take a minute to explain why the logic and the data behind the calorie idea just simply implodes on itself. Calories in, calories out is presented as based on the first law of thermodynamics and thus cannot be broken, as is with any rule in physics. Sure, calorie counting works for some people. This ballet dancer, interviewed on Munchies, describes how her meticulous calorie counting allows her to achieve her goal weight.
So to lose half a pound a week, I do a 250 calorie deficit a day, so I'll be there in 3 weeks.
I have half of a smoothie, so it's 185.
Though the thing with using physics as a justification for something is that the law must work every time. For example, in 2011, the Opera experiment found particles called neutrinos moving faster than the speed of light. So did the scientists say, that's just one case? Of course not. The results and nature of the experiment were thoroughly analyzed to eventually conclude that there indeed was a mistake, and no, the universal speed limit was not broken. So it's very odd that something like calories in, calories out that rarely works became touted as an undeniable truth among health professionals because it's supposedly based in physics. In 1846, the Native American tribe known as the Pima had been encountered by the US Army and had been observed to be lean and in wonderful health. They lived off of abundant game. They had fish and clams and had cattle and huge stockpiles of corn, beans, wheat, melons, and figs. Then the California Gold Rush brought in people who hunted their game to extinction and diverted the Gila River, leaving them unable to irrigate their crops, and by the 1870s they were so stricken with famine that they had to rely almost entirely on government rations to survive. Yet after all those years of famine, between 1901 and 1905, 2 different anthropologists observed them as being particularly fat. How could they be lean with an abundance of food and fat when they were having trouble getting enough calories to survive? Then, in the early 1990s, a study was done on 50,000 women to see the effects of a low-fat, lower-calorie diet on their health. They consumed 360 less calories per day than their previous diets, yet after 8 years they lost on average only 2 pounds. This doesn't follow the widely accepted idea that a 350-calorie deficit will lose you a pound of fat every 10 days.
Okay, go. Do you or don't you count calories?
No.
Calories are everything when it comes to weight loss. It's the universal rule. It's calories in versus calories out. Simple math. Let me explain. Okay. A pound is 3,500 calories, okay?
Wait a minute. This 3,500 calories per pound of fat at first doesn't make any sense because a pound is 453.6 grams and fat is 9 calories per gram, so 9 multiplied by 453.6 equals 4,082.33 calories. However, only 87% of your body fat is actually lipid, so 87% of 4,082.33 is actually 3,551.63 calories, so it sort of works. Except the lipid percentage changes from person to person. It could be as low as 72% for some people. So for that person, a pound of fat is only 2,939.28 calories. This is a pretty significant difference if you're someone who's closely monitoring calories. Okay, let's say you went and figured out the lipid density of your fat tissue. Great. It's still way too hard to precisely monitor the amount of calories you take in. So 4 calories from carbs, 4 from protein, 9 from fats, right? Not quite. These are averages. Depending on the source of the macronutrients, the actual calorie values differ. Protein from wheat gluten is 5.95 calories, and from cow's milk, it's a little bit less at 5.9 calories. The fat from cow's milk is 9.19 calories, whereas human breast milk is 9.37 calories of fat. Then your carbohydrates. Monosaccharides have 3.75 calories, disaccharides have 3.95 calories, and polysaccharides are from 4.15 to 4.20 calories. This doesn't sound like much at first, but over the course of a day it adds up. And studies have shown that the packages on food labels are at most 90% accurate. BBC has done a program called The Truth About Calories, where they investigate this and confirm that there are plenty of discrepancies on food labels. Casey Neistat did something similar in this video of his.
But I did find that on this day, if I had based my diet on the calorie counts provided to me, because of the discrepancies in those counts, I would have consumed an extra 548 calories.
The next thing that you would also have to track precisely is how well your food has been cooked. Research has shown that cooking your food significantly increases the amount of weight you can gain by eating it. Richard Wrangham talks about how this was a very important part to our evolution because it meant we were getting more energy out of pretty much the same materials, which helped us to power our big brains and have children more frequently. So if I ate this 46 grams of meat raw as a tartare or something, I would gain less weight from it than if I had cooked it. The same thing goes for vegetables. So back to the 3,500 calories per pound thing. Let's say you ate a pound of coconut oil, which would give you over 4,000 calories. Do you think that might make you poop?
Everybody poops, and if they don't, they're
But seriously, how are you supposed to consistently gain a pound of fat from 3,500 calories if eating 4,000 calories won't do it? So let's rephrase Jillian's question for her. Do you or don't you measure your body lipid composition, personally verify the calorie counts, analyze how much you cook your food, and weigh yourself before you go to the bathroom?
No.
And there's your problem.
This all brings us back to thermodynamics, which calories in, calories out is apparently based on. The first law states that the change in the internal energy of a closed system is equal to the amount of heat supplied to the system minus the amount of work done by the system on its surroundings. Essentially, in order to gain or lose energy within a closed system, energy input must be different from energy output. Except the calories hypothesis interprets this as, if the energy added to your body does not match the energy coming out of your body, the excess energy will be stored as fat. To understand how illogical this is, let's think of a battery. Let's say your battery is dead and you want to charge it. By charging it, you could technically say that you're adding calories to it. A calorie is just the energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius. So I could surely find a way to use the electrical energy in the battery to heat up some water, so it has some calories. So now that I've charged the battery by adding calories to it, is it significantly heavier? Obviously not. Yet we've been taught that calorie-dense foods make us heavier because there's more energy in them. More energy is not what makes you heavier. If you could just violate the laws of conservation of mass and conservation of energy like that, everybody would have a perpetual motion device in their house.
In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics!
By the way, calorie-dense foods are giving you more energy to meet your daily energy needs with less mass. Shouldn't the logic from the start have been that lower calorie foods make you gain weight because you have to take in more mass to get the same amount of energy? You might say, no. Higher calorie fatty foods make you fatter because they turn into fat more easily. The biochemistry is more complicated than that, and fat is still less than half of the weight for the same amount of energy. And if you want to start arguing that angle, then you're accepting the fact that different substances are processed differently in the body, which means a calorie is not a calorie, thus calories in, calories out doesn't work. You have to either accept the fact that not all calories are equal, or use some kind of magical wizard physics to defend the concept. You can only pick one. Those are the problems with calories in, calories out. Now there's the problem of the calorie itself. Food's caloric content is based on the heat generated by a foodstuff when it is combusted. Calories are measured in a calorimeter, a device where you insert the foodstuff into a crucible, submerge that in water, and then basically blow the foodstuff up to see how much the water was heated. Sure, it gives you an idea of the potential heat energy within the food, but needless to say, this is not how your digestive system works. Macronutrients are broken down, shuttled through various metabolic systems to generate adenosine triphosphate, which is the general form of energy used to run the machinery of our cells. We are not bombs, and we are not steam turbines. We do not blow up food in our stomachs, and we do not run our body directly off of heat or heated water. Even the terminology we have regarding calories and weight loss is misleading. You don't burn fat. If you burned anything in your body, you would be in the emergency room. After fat is broken down to produce energy, 20% leaves your body as water and 80% as CO2. So you actually breathe off most of the fat. And sometimes people will talk about burning calories. Calories are a unit of heat themselves. You can't burn heat. That's not a thing. Considering calories have so little going for them, how did they become the universal measurement of food energy? There are so many more useful pieces of information you could track instead of calories. What would really be good to know is to know how much adenosine triphosphate the food would produce, because that's what our bodies actually run on, not heat. Calories in, calories out illustrates the real problem with nutrition for the past several decades: oversimplification. It's easy to work with simple numbers like 4 calories for carbohydrates, 4 for protein, 9 for fat, rather than trying to understand how these are actually processed in the body. If calories in, calories out was correct, how could this guy set a deadlift world record eating 1,200 calories per day? How could these people run 400 miles in a single go without eating at least 7 kilos of food? How could Matt Stoney eat all this crap and stay skinny? And how could these two brothers be in the same household, eating the same things, and looking this different? This is because calories don't matter, and they never did. I don't think anyone is fat because they just don't give a crap. It's more likely that they were given a piece of advice that didn't work, and when they questioned it, they were told that they weren't trying hard enough. Okay, so this video was all about what doesn't matter to your health. Next time I'll be talking about things that do matter, like how your body and your hormones respond to your food. So make sure to stay tuned for the second part to this topic. If you like this, make sure to subscribe, and maybe even consider checking me out on Patreon. Any support really helps to keep the channel going. You can see my other 2 videos on health here.